Good evening, Learning Journey. We want to welcome you tonight as we come to you live. And we just thank you for being a part of our learning journey tonight. This is a day that we're just going to ad lib and we're going to have some real talk with you tonight. What to do when you don't know what to do. Well, you know what? We have Jean Ann Moses back with us tonight, and everybody just loves Jean Ann when she comes on because you're talking about real talk. Jean Ann does not fake anything, and sometimes some of the talk, she's got to zip it. But we just love her because you know what? There's nothing better than being real. So again, we're the learning journey, and we are here to help those who the loved ones of those who are navigating the criminal justice system. And I'm going to tell you, it's a lot when you're navigating the criminal justice system. So we thank her for being on. We thank Lee for being on. And we just want to let you know what's coming down the pike. We have our first annual golf tournament. It's going to be after the election on Thursday, November the 7th. So come out, join us. We want everybody to be there. We're inviting the masses out, our community leaders. Come out and support us and help us with this endeavor because you know what? You never know when you're going to need us. And that is so important. Also, we have our annual charity run that's coming up in January the 14th. That second Saturday of January. We also have some great in-kind sponsors that are coming out and are excited about it this year. So every year, bring one and we grow by one. So we're just thanking God for allowing us to do that. And we thank you for those who have reached out to us. You know what? Our signals might not be good today. We just went through a major hurricane and everything has just impacted our city here. Some people just got electricity yesterday, and we thank God that it's not in the heat of the summer, but this is what we have gone through. So we just thank God that we're alive. I know you're looking at me. I did suffer a fall. I was out trying to do my exercise and tripped and fell. So, I just thank God that I am okay. But yeah, my face looks a little beat up, but no, it wasn't domestic violence, as somebody said. I fell and had some trauma. So, you know what? I thank God that I can still talk, but we're going to get into this. And Lee, welcome. Do you want to say hi to our viewers tonight?
I want to say hi
Okay.
to our journey audience. If I can keep myself joining us, we've been through some stuff. We've been through some storms, but thanks be to God, we are here. Okay, we're going to make it on through. Just continue to help each other. Reach out as we've done for the past week. Everybody's okay with this. So,
Yes,
real
that's
talk.
real talk. What you gonna do, Gina? What are you gonna do when you don't know what to do? What,
You
what
just you just stand.
yeah.
Sometimes you have to stand in your mess. I'm gonna read my shirt because I just thought it's appropriate. In a world where you can be anything, be kind.
Yes.
At the end of the day, it's about kindness, right? Because we're all struggling through something. We've just come through the hurricane. Life is happening. I hate that saying life is life, but it is, right? Life is happening. It's the end of hurricane season. Things are happening. Thank God we have our lives. But I think what's happening is that we're not kind to each other and we're feeling it. And I
Yes.
think in this season, it's about being gracious and grateful in spite and despite it all. Even when you can't stand people and you can't even stand yourself. Because the truth is, we can't stand ourselves. That's when we can't stand people.
Yes.
Like yesterday, real talk, I had a bad attitude. Like for real, for real. Like I was a mean girl. But I was just talking. And somebody said to me, Chidi, you're really mean. I'm like, yeah, and but I had to catch myself today because at the end of the day, what I recognized was it was anxiety that had been building up, right? So, I was washing clothes before the hurricane. I was going around minding my business. My dogs were acting shady because they were anxious. And so they got sick. And you're doing things and organizing, organizing, and organizing. But you feel, oh, I've been here 35 years. It's just a hurricane. It's no big deal. But what happened is all those juices were sitting in my system. When they
Wow.
finally began to let down, I didn't lose power. We lost the fence, so my dog couldn't go outside. You know, other people have real issues, right? But all the fence blew, whatever. But I didn't realize how much anxiety my body was holding.
Mhm.
I have a headache. I started sneezing, and I was a mean girl because I had no place to put it. But the fact is, I began to acknowledge and know what the behavior was coming from. That's how anxiety looks sometimes.
Yes. And it's something, and people are like, anxiety. And anxiety is basically when you have occasionally you worry about things or experiences in life, stressful life events. For us and people in Florida, we just went through some stressful life events, and now, not to scare us, we have two more storms out there that could merge together. And these are stressful life events because it disrupts everything. So imagine when your loved one is incarcerated. It is a stressful life event. It disrupts everything, your whole well being and everything. This weekend, I'm going to see my son. And, just the thought of that and gearing myself up this week for it, it's a lot because, you have to get on a flight, you're getting there, it's just a lot. So for me, it's starting to be that stressful life event. And, there could be frequent anxiety from it. So my anxiety could be elevated here or there. And it's not fun, but we understand. So what are you going to do when you don't know what to do? As Jean Ann said, you're going to stand. Because if you don't, you're going to make your anxiety worse, and then you're going to have your stressors. So, you don't want to go through that. And, when you have anxiety, I just wanted to go over a few things with it that it can cause. It could be memory issues. You're forgetting things. I know how many times I walk back and forth. Say, what did I come in this room for? Anxiety, because I have so many things. I take care of mom. So it's so many things on my mind as well. Insomnia. You wake up at night. How am I going to pay this bill? How am I going to do this? Did I turn the light off? All of those things start to bother you. You could have rapid heartbeat. Your heartbeat's starting to beat faster, and that means that you need to calm down. You could have headaches. You could have trouble breathing when that anxiety gets high. Lack of patience. Lord knows, my brother told me, he said, you need to have some more patience, have some more patience. And I said, Jimmy, I know I need to have those patience, especially when it comes to mom sometimes, realizes she's almost 90, and, she doesn't think on my on a fast scale anymore. It's a little bit slower. So, I need to have those patience. And then needing reassurance. Sometimes we just need reassurance. We need that thumbs up that we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. Panic attacks. If your worry and that anxiety goes up as high it can, then you're going to go into a panic mode. And the panic mode is what you don't want to go into. You can have stomach issues as well. A lot of times that stomach starts to churn when you get all that anxiety in you. Also, sweating. Start sweating profusely when you're very anxious and you avoid things. You have avoidance and overthinking. You overthinking everything. That's all of that anxiety. Jean Ann, would you like to add on to that?
Do you know that you tripped and fell?
Yes, yes, yes.
Guess what? The body kept the score. And what happened to you was you were distracted and you wouldn't stand still. And so your body had to make you stop. And it may
Yes.
sound so inane to say that, but how many times do we hurt ourselves because we're so anxious? We're so consumed in what's going on that we're not paying attention and our body has to stop us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And your body
Yeah,
stopped you. And even though it may look like something, it was to remind you because
it
your body
was.
knows.
It was. And believe it or not, Gina, and I have trauma from it.
Of course you do.
Every
Because
night I still remember that falling, and it traumatizes me because I fractured some things. So I imagine, you know, the loved one of those incarcerated still having that trauma of that call, or that trauma of seeing their loved ones in maybe, handcuffs or shackles or whatever that trauma may be, listening to the judge when they get a sentence, or listening to the magistrate, or things of that nature. What you gonna do? You've got to learn to deal with those things, don't you, Jean Ann? From a mental health perspective.
sometimes you have to talk to someone. And so for me as a therapist, and I'm like you, a licensed mental health counselor here in the state of Florida. And the one thing I tell people, you can avoid a lot of things, but you need to talk to someone. You may have your family and friends, and we're doing these subgroups, but here's the thing. Sometimes there's a lot of guilt and issues we carry. And truth is, sometimes you're really angry at them, right? Because they didn't listen.
Yes.
We know we have adult children who have adolescents, and they didn't listen. Truth is, we didn't listen either. But in that place when you're looking at your family member and you're angry, you carry guilt over that,
Yes.
and you carry shame.
Yes.
And because you carry all of that, you can't always talk to everybody, even here in this grouping, right? Sometimes you need to someone that's talk to someone that's detached so you can tell your truth. And
Yes.
it's okay to say, you know what? I told that knucklehead, and I'm gonna talk just like that. I told that knucklehead that kid ain't never listened from elementary school to this grade to
Yeah.
that grade. They wouldn't listen. I told them about that crowd, they wouldn't listen. And it's okay to speak your truth. And
Yes.
it's okay if you carry mom and dad guilt. But at the end of the day, sometimes we make choices. And you, parents, family
Mhm.
members, siblings, forgive yourself. Forgive
Yes.
yourself if sometimes you don't want to go see them. That's okay.
Hmm. It is.
It's okay to take care of yourself to be healing. You know, we just go through the hurricane. Love your son, but you just fell. You have a mother that's ill. She's aged, and it is what it is, right? It's a circle of life. You're not a spring chicken anymore. Neither am I. So I'm not putting you down or even think about it. Okay, okay. But let's talk about that. Your body is tired.
Yeah.
Your body is weary. You're working. You're taking care of other people's needs. When did you stop to take care of yourself? Surface, right? We make surface. We put on the little lipstick, you know, we put on the eyes, we get our hair done, and everybody thinks we're woo woo, we look so nice and we feel good. And inside you're dying.
Yeah.
And the depression sets in, but you're carrying a smile because that's what
There you
depression looks
go.
like,
Yes.
right?
It's that depression. Gina, and you just hit on something. So, it's not about me. It's about the other people going out, but we can identify because we've been there. So when you look at this, think about what you just said. You got to process those emotions. When you don't know what to do, start processing those emotions that you're going through. Now, why am I angry? You talked about anger. You process those emotions. When you don't know what to do, go sit there and ask yourself, now, what really made me angry? Am I angry at my child, or my husband, or my loved one? Or am I angry at myself? Am I depressed because of this, or because of something else? Does the anxiety come because of the situation, or does it come from something else? Learn to process those emotions without overthinking that causes that anxiety. And that was so good what you just said, because it made me think how many times we don't know what to do. And if we keep it inside, we're causing ourselves stress. We're pushing it down in there. Get the grief and the trauma up and out. And that's what's important, to get it up and out.
I'm going to give you an example of something. I'm going to do something with you,
Sure.
okay? And it's a simple exercise, and it's something we don't like to do. So I'll use I'll use myself. I'll use
Okay.
myself. So I'll give you an example and let you take it from there.
Okay.
So I'm going to use my husband just because it's easy and
Poor Gary.
because I like to. He didn't do anything. So
Okay.
I'll say, I resent my husband because he's a know-it-all. He doesn't listen to me when I speak. Um, He watches sports all the time. He doesn't give me what I want when I want it. It makes me feel less than. It makes me feel unseen. You heard the two, right? I resent him.
Less
How it
than.
made
Yeah.
me feel. How
Mm-hmm.
it made me feel.
Mm-hmm.
The part I play,
Mm.
the part I played is I was never clear about what I wanted. The part I
Oh,
played is that I gave as much as I get. The part I play is that I pop off on my mouth when I shouldn't. The part I play is that I want kindness when I didn't give kindness.
yes. Yes.
Here's what happened. I'm no longer angry at him because I've spewed my negativity.
Mm-hmm.
I've released that anxiety. But
Exactly.
now I'm able to look at myself because
Yes.
he no longer has the power, but I get to do the cleanup.
Exactly.
So you're mad at your kid or somebody in your family. Let's have you do that exercise. You're mad because you fell. So you're mad at the sidewalk. Let's do that. Do that part.
I'm mad at the sidewalk. I was talking. I had my Bluetooth in. I was making plans for something I had to do Saturday. Uh, Tripped, and immediately I thought about my knees. I'm trying to cover those and slid and broke my glasses. But I was worried about my glasses. I love them little glasses.
Stop. It made you feel. How did it make you feel?
Um, I was laying on the ground there for a moment. Teeth were all out and bloody. I felt ashamed in a way. I felt angry. I was hurt. And then madly, I said, God, why did you let this happen? Why?
Okay. It made you. What part did you play?
Guilty because I should have been more attentive.
And you shouldn't have been. And I was doing
But the
what?
concrete was raised. So I did
But you
trip
were
a little.
what? But you were doing what?
I was
I
had
was
my booth. I was talking. I was handling work while I was out there.
instead of being present.
Yes. Instead of being present. There you go. Present
Did
in
you
the
get
moment.
that? Did you
Yes.
get that?
Yes.
Do you see the release that gives you?
Yes. Yeah.
Because it was no more about that. It was that you weren't present for your walk, for your healing.
Yes.
And
Yes.
in turn, you tripped and fell. You're angry. You were ashamed because you put work before yourself. And
Yes.
now everything else centered around what you needed because you didn't take the time to
For
take
me.
care of you.
Amen. That's so you hit it right on the nail. How many times do we do that? We give to everybody else instead of internally taking care of what we need. And that was what I said. I said, God, I brought mom up here. We tried to why would you let this happen when she was a nervous wreck? So you were so right. And that's what we do when we get that call and when we don't know what to do. We want to blame everybody and everything else, where we have to look at what part we played in that and what role we took in that. It is so, and we do this in therapy all the time, but sometimes we need to do the psychotherapy on ourselves and look at what we do when we don't know what to do. What do
Physician,
we
heal
do?
yourself. Can a
Yes,
physician heal themselves? Because you can't do surgery on yourself.
that's
Because
right.
even a therapist needs a therapist, right?
Yes,
Because
yes,
when life happens to us, when whatever happens, when it's someone you love, someone you care about, a friend, something happens to someone you care about, you're not thinking about that. You
yes,
forget for a minute and you get so caught up in the chaos
exactly.
that you lose sight of what
Yeah,
happens. Hence the anxiety, because the future tripping, right? We're 10 years ahead. That's
oh
what you
yeah,
were doing, right? You were future tripping.
yeah,
You were 10 weeks ahead
yeah.
instead of being present for your walk that you brought your mother up. God, why did you do this for God? God was like, because I needed you to set your happy behind down and observe my world so that
Yeah,
you can be of service in a different way.
yep, exactly. And that is so important. So you think about that loved one now who is not in the moment because the anger, the depression, the trauma, the anxiety that they can't deal with, and they're going back and forth. You need to be in the present. So you must go into mindfulness. Mindfulness will block out all of that extraneous stimuli and put you in the present moment where you can think clearly. So when you don't know what to do, you're going to stand and you're going to start to pull back the curtain, your curtain, and look inside and stop pointing the finger at everybody else. What did you do? And that is so important.
Because God says, be still and know that I
Know
am
that I am
God.
God.
Because
Yes,
when we are still, sometimes your person's incarcerated and you're looking for a way and you're mad at everybody else. And maybe the lesson is for you and not for them.
exactly.
And sometimes you have to be still in that place because here's the thing, they may be going through, and God is teaching you to keep your eyes on Him so that they can come through. You're
Yes,
worried, but they're safe for a minute. I'm not saying the prison system is safe. I'm not saying that. I'm saying for you to be able to provide for them, they need to know you're safe
yes.
so that they can count on you on the outside. So if you're stressing on every level and you're not present for yourself, how can you show up for them in a place that you're healed? Because
Mm,
if they
mm, mm.
because the body keeps the score. When somebody has time to look and study, they see through you better than you see through them.
Exactly. Exactly. Woo! There's so much truth to that, Jean Ann. There's so much truth. Look at Lee right now. What to do when you don't know what to do. The system keeps knocking her off. What to do when you don't know what to do? LOL. Just stand. She just standing in her house and just asking God, when is he going to bring the internet back? You just stand. That is so important. So important. You know, a lot of times, if we can just go into that meditation and have our focus above, or whoever your higher power may be, mine is God. So if you can just focus on that, you would not believe how much you can mute out the anxiety, the stress, the worry, and it will help you with the depression because you're going to think differently. You're not going to have those negative emotions coming at you. And when those negative emotions come at you, Gina, and I know you can attest to this, they're like darts,
Hmm.
fiery darts, and they keep coming one after the other. So when you go into mindfulness, you are blocking out those fiery darts. And that is so important. You know, when things like this happen, you also need your support group. You need that support group to stand. You know, before we got on this evening, when you don't know what to do, I have a neighbor who's going for surgery tomorrow morning. And I went and prayed with her because she's anxious. She doesn't know what to do. So I went and prayed with her. And in that moment, it took her mind away from that anxiety. And that was good. So you're so right. She had to stand and listen to the prayer. And that way, you know, it helped her. So for those that are going through that support system, when you don't know what to do, call that one that is rooted in the word. Call that one who is able to keep you from falling. We all have friends, but each one means something different. You got that friend that will tell you straight up how it is. Then you know that's what Jean Ann is, right? She does not sugarcoat, okay? Doesn't matter where she's gonna see you. I could be on the E train and she could be on the F train. She gonna look out that window and tell you straight up how it is. And you want friends like that. You want people to help you through, but also support you and, and be true to you, just like Jean Ann's dog right now. Okay,
And that's sometimes what you need. I'm going to say something,
emotional
and
support.
that's why Let Brooklyn comes. And when people have anxiety, you'll never notice their cat or their dog will show up. I will tell you as a therapist, sometimes I'm talking to a therapist and I have my headphones. She can't hear anything that's going on. But the person's anxiety shows up and the dog shows up to bring them down.
Yes.
For me, when I'm very anxious, and I tell people, find what your thing. right? My sing, remember the old people used to do it, but I am that. I sing. So I start singing at the top of my lungs, and the spirit will just give you a song because that soothes my soul.
Yes.
That helps to release my anxiety. For some people, it's writing. For
Yes.
some people, like you, it's walking. Some it's I'm telling you, writing sometimes help. Like where you get to write all, I'm gonna say just like the vileness that's in you. Because sometimes the anxiety is because you're lying to yourself,
Yeah.
right? We're lying. We're saying, how are you? I'm good. I'm good. I'm sweet. I'm fine. But when you write pen to paper, when you free write, where you're not trying to make it look good, when you start talking about all the
Hmm.
stuff that's sitting in there and you get it out, and with it leaves the anxiety, or you
Yeah.
color,
Yes.
or you draw, you paint, you find your go to. Because when you find your safe place, your secure place, if it's watching Hallmark from Youth Hallmark or watching football, where you're just present, even if it's for 30 minutes,
Yes.
to help the body to de-escalate, because the body sits in the anxiety. Like I'm talking to you guys now, I had a massive headache because something happened that pushed me over the radar. I was stressed out, the tension in my body. Talking to you about this helped me to release,
Release.
because
Yes.
I was able to talk through it and see, even telling that foolishness about my husband, it was because I was able to. But here's the part: it wasn't about my husband.
It's about you.
It was it was about what I said about
Yeah.
myself.
Yes.
Because my husband is easy, but if I talked about my kids, they'd want to rip your face off
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So you can only talk about those that are adults like you, even though
Hmm.
everybody's an adult, but
Yeah.
wherever you already know. Look, here's the thing at the end of the day. We all struggle with anxiety. We all struggle with loss. We all struggle with something. We all have trauma. Find somebody that you feel safe with and
Yes.
speak your truth. Because sometimes speaking your truth is where the healing begins. It doesn't matter what everybody feels. It doesn't matter what they think. Going to a therapist and saying, I'm great, you're wonderful and stuff, you're only hurting yourself.
Hmm. Hmm.
Find someone that you could be your authentic self with, to
Yes.
release the pain that's in your body so that you can start your healing, so that you can be present for the people that you want to heal. And you can't go to God as a liar, right? Let me go there now.
Hmm.
If you're going to
Hmm.
talk to God, I'm real talk. I talk to God exactly like I'm talking to you.
Yes.
I
Yes.
say, God, yo, bruh, you got joke, like what's up, like enough, man, like
Do
what's
the
going
same.
on,
Show
Father?
me something.
Like, yo,
Yes.
God, I'm standing in your feet. I'm asking you to return to me everything the cankerworm stole. I'm telling you, God, I've honored you, but look, Father, you got to do something with your people because I am done with it.
Yes.
Okay. And you know what he says
Yes.
to me, Gina, and I didn't ask for your help. Mind your business.
There you go. Take your hands off. I don't need you. I've already, and you know what he tells me? I've already taken care of it. You lack patience. He said, I've already taken care of that. When this happened and it just kept hitting and coming and coming, I said, God, where are you? He says, I'm right here. He says, I'm right here. He said, continue on. I got you. He said, where's your faith? He said, know that I have you. And it's so many times when we let the anxiety take over instead of going into a mindfulness and saying, okay, I'm going to calm myself down. I'm going to do this. For me, for anxiety, I do my 3 miles, my power walk every day. And I talk to God along the way. My neighbors probably think I've lost it because I talk out loud to them, got my Bluetooth in. And whenever you have your Bluetooth in, you're talking louder anyway. So my neighbors probably say, "That crazy girl again, okay, that's walking around the neighborhood." But I do that and it helps me release things that are there. It helps me release. So we just wanted to give you some quick little things that you could do. The first one is stand. Just stand. Just be still in the moment and stand. Know that it is already worked out. Two, ask God, what am I to learn from this situation? What am I to learn from this situation? Number three, watch the negative emotions. Number four, introspection. What part did I play in it? What part did I play in this? Number 5, where's your support system? When you don't know what to do. Now, you're not going to call on that one who's not real with you and always gives you the wrong info. Please don't call on that one. That one that has a lot of issues and always calls on you. That's not the one I don't think you want at that time that you're going through. You want somebody who can stand in the gap with you and hold you up when you don't know what to do. That's what you're going to do. Lee is that type of person. She knew I was going through and sent me something so sweet this morning because, you know, I had to go for some things and she knew. So it was like she felt that, but she stood in the gap with me. Tanja was another one, stood in the gap with me. How are you? You know, what are you going? These are the kind of people when you don't know what to do. These are the kind of people that can lead you and guide you through. So we just wanted to give you a few hinters on that. And Lee, you see how the devil just plays back and forth with the internet, but the show will go on and Lee is on here and she will post things. And, you know, we're just going to continue on our journey. We hope that what we have said will help some people who just don't know what to do. You cry. Crying is a cleansing. That is good for you. Get those emotions up and out and start to process. Process those emotions. Don't push them back in there. Why am I feeling this way? What can I do about it? Sometimes all you have to do is change your thoughts by adding those 3 letters, B-U-T. I am so sad today, but tomorrow I'm going to be uplifted. That can help by changing that emotion into a positive affirmation. Jean Ann, would you like to add anything as we close today?
I just got to say one thing that you did. You just said about your own story. You said, I walk and I talk to God. And what weren't you doing that day? You were talking to somebody, not spending time with God. He said, be still. You just messed your own self up. But I just have to say that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm only going to say this to you guys. I want you to be kind to yourself.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, we take care of the world, but we're never kind to ourselves. And if you're not kind to yourselves, you can't heal and support anyone because it starts with you. The healing starts within. Remember Michael Jackson, The Man in the Mirror?
Yeah.
When you start with the man in the mirror,
Change
you're
your
able to do so much more for the rest. But people, I'm going to tell you, as we get ready to finish this month and go into
oh,
Thanksgiving, take care of you. Be selfish for a minute because you've been praying for your children or your loved one. Pray for you so
yes.
that God can strengthen you to do what He has called you to do in this season. That's what I think I was here to tell you to do. Be kind to you because
Yes.
your body keeps the score. And if you're not taking care of you, how are you going to support them if you're not well?
Amen. And you just mentioned something. I had to tag this on here before we close. This is harvest. We're getting ready to go into harvest season. So what you have sown, you will reap. So harvest comes at a time where start being grateful. Have your gratitude journal. Stop listing what you don't have and start being grateful for what you do have. Don't look at, we have a way of looking at the negative all the time. Let's look at the positive. I thank you for my friends. I thank you that my roof didn't blow off. I thank you for this session that we can come into others' hearts and lives and homes and help them and support them. God, I thank you for using us to do that, Jean Ann. You know, so I just had to bring that in because this is harvest season, as you mentioned. It's not only about the vegetables, it's about you. It's about you. This is a harvest season and you're going to reap. Think about all the first part of the year and you might have given to this one and done this and done that. Well, give and it shall be given unto you. Pressed down, shaken together. Your cup runneth over. Now I'm paraphrasing that. So don't she said it wrong. I'm not trying to say it right. I'm saying it the way I want to say it. I'm saying it the way I want to interpret it tonight.
This is
Because
your
I want you to.
season.
I'm sorry, Jean Ann.
I was just saying this is your season for
Yeah,
grace and favor.
it is. It is. It is his mercy. So when you don't know what to do, just stand. Just be still. Just stand. Be still. Look inside. Ask those questions. We have not because we ask not. He will give it to you. He'll show you exactly what you need. And be kind, as Jean Ann said. Having patience is being kind. It is really being kind with yourself. Be kind to yourself and do self-care. So we just wanted to bring that to you tonight. It was something that came on, being kind and what you gonna do when you don't know what to do. And that's so important. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. And that's the first thing you do. What am I supposed to do? We don't know. But you navigate through it. When you're still and you stand, things come to you. When you have the anxiety, when you're trying to do too much, what did I tell you? You can't concentrate and you lose your way. So learn to be still and it will all come together. We thank you so much. Again, we're a 501(c) nonprofit organization, Our Lessons Learned, and we're on here every other Monday. We thank Jean Ann for being with us again. And just when you don't know what to do, you can always reach out to us. When you support us, we support you. You never know when you're going to need us. You never know when it's on your doorstep next. It's not an easy road to travel, but remember, you're not alone. We're traveling this road together. So until we see you again, blessings, grace, and mercy be upon you. Good night, everyone.